Turbo S's and turbos are bought by people that just want the fastest turbo they can get.
Then you're buying an alley sump, then you're buying a pipe, and then you've got your oil feed pipes into the top as well. All those pipes.
Sounds expensive, you just telling me that.
Is this the bit where you're going to haggle?
Well, you know it's coming.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is my GR Yaris and it's my daily. In fact, it's been my daily car for the last 2 years. It's a car that I can use in all weather. It's four-wheel drive, enough power to have some fun in. But I think it's time to replace it. And if you watched the last episode on Raj's Garage, where we showed the 964, we talked about another Porsche, a 996. And I think I found my next daily. So guys, I think I might have found the perfect car. Check this out. It's an Ashgood Porsche, and I know these guys exceptionally well because I bought my 964 Turbo from them. They're only down the road. 2004 996 3.6 Turbo S, coupe, manual, and 40,000 miles, I believe. 40,586 miles. So guys, the Turbo S is really the highest spec 996 turbo you can get. It has a bit more power than the stock car. The stock car's about 410, 415 brake. Turbo S gives you 450 brake. There are only 60 right-hand drive Turbo S cars manufactured for the UK market, so right-hand drive. So you got 450 brake, you got ceramics as standard. I think I may have found the car. Let's get over to Ashgood Porsche. So guys, I am here at Ashgood Porsche to check out this 996 Turbo S, and I can actually see it just over here. So wow, she does look stunning. Lovely looking thing here. So before we grab Tom, and he can obviously talk about this particular car and the specs and the mileage and so on, let me show you some of the other stuff they've got in this showroom. So a couple of 996 turbos here, look like polar silver. So these are non-S's, just standard turbos. So these are about 420 brake horsepower. I think from memory, the Turbo S is 450 brake horsepower, but Tom can confirm that. This one's caught my eye. Gen 1 997 GT3 RS in orange, can't miss it. And I think on the GT3 997s, it's the special colors that really set them apart from some of the standard 997 cars. Guys, Amethyst 964 RS, right-hand drive car. I saw that on their website. Put some details up on the screen. That looks stunning. Some awesome cars here at Ashgood Porsche. Now it's time to focus on what I really wanted, the Porsche 996 Turbo S. I know Tom fairly well. I've done business with Tom before.
Yes.
3.5 years ago.
Yes.
Pre-COVID, I bought my 964 Turbo.
That's
from
correct.
you.
Yeah.
And we've always spoken when we've met at events about just general Porsche and cars and what I'm looking at for. We actually spoke about this car a few weeks ago.
You did.
When I sort of started the hunt, so to speak. But we're here now.
Absolutely.
And we may be able to do a deal on this car.
Yeah.
So it all depends on how you sell it to me.
How I sell it to you. Perfect.
And how the car performs, obviously.
Well, obviously, it's a Turbo S 996, so performance isn't a problem for it. 450 brake, manual. Turbo S's and turbos are bought by people that just want the fastest turbo they can get. They're not bothered about that GT product that can go around a corner and go around the circuit as quickly as it possibly can. They just want the spec and they want to know it's fast and it's got all the bits on it.
Well, I've got to say, she does look pretty in here, but I'm sure you've detailed it.
Yeah,
to ensure that it obviously catches my eye.
Absolutely.
Which it does do. Black on black.
Yes.
Excellent colour combo.
Exactly.
Manual box, as you said.
Yeah, they're a rare car, only 60 units in the UK C16 cars, right-hand drive.
60 right-hand drive cars for the UK market.
Exactly. So globally, there was 900 of the cabriolets, 600 of the coupes.
So they made more cabriolets than coupes?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's down to that.
That's a weird one, isn't it?
Exactly. If you profile then the Porsche owner that's buying them initially, they just want the best. They said, well, we might as well have a convertible. So they kind of...
Valid point.
It's like the point when they bought the 355 and they did a F1 gearbox for the first time. Everyone bought one. And then they now all want a manual.
They all want manual. Anything else I need to know about this particular example?
No, reasonable owners. I think it's a 5-owner car, wingback seat, ceramic brakes on Pilot Sport tyres. But obviously being four-wheel drive, it handles that power really well.
40-odd thousand miles?
Yeah, 40-odd thousand miles.
Which is kind of nice. It's been used, but it's not been heavily used.
No, exactly. And they're good. They're more reliable. The turbos and the GT products in the 996 series are more reliable than the other variants of engines. So.
Okay, so yeah, service history is very good. Last service was December. No, it's not. Sorry, the last service was April this year. So it doesn't need a service for a while. Aircon condenser, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, some good service history there. It's been looked after, and obviously it's all stamped up in the book, and you've got the old MOTs and so on. Okay, great. So guys, before I take the car out for a drive, let's have a quick walk around the car, do some due diligence, so I know what I'm returning back. Now, in terms of wheels, the wheels here are slightly different. Normally, the turbos have the turbo twists, the Polar Silver car here, which is what I'm familiar with. But these have got what I call the Sport Techno wheels, which is an upgrade. I'm not sure about these Sport Technos, but we'll see in time if I do a deal. Maybe I'll take it with these wheels or we switch it up. Now, a point of controversy when it comes to 996s is always the front end. So this was the only 911 variant that Porsche did a radical redesign on the front lights. The Gen 1 version has the fried egg, but with a bit of a yellow section in here. I believe that's for the indicator, which some people say looks like a yoke. With the Gen 2, they softened it a little bit, and I've warmed to these lights now. Over the years, I have been in that camp that I just can't get my head around the front end of these, but I think it looks okay. Stock ride height, you've got the ceramics. I do like the yellow brake calipers. They do break up all that black on black coming around the back, guys. I do like this rear section on the Turbo S's and the C4S's. I think it's one of the best designs on a 911. Slightly different exhaust tips on the Turbo S's. This is probably going to be the fastest manual car that I've owned if I do a deal. The 991 GT3 was PDK, and the 992 GT3 was PDK. I've had R8s and so on before in the past. I've had a Ferrari 430, but they're all F1s or R-tronic boxes. So this will be interesting to see how this performs with the manual box, and if you can get the power down, which I'm sure you can. Now, looking on inside, in terms of condition of interior, very, very, very clean. Yeah, a little bit of hard wearing on the leather seat here, but you'd expect that on the bolster. You've got that old school analog dash just before it sort of went into the digital era with the 997. Ideally, I would have wanted it with the carbon fiber upgrade. So I've seen a few where the initial option, somebody has ticked that box for that carbon fiber upgrade, which is on the center console here and on the side sills. Maybe if I do a deal, that's something I can fit aftermarket. Right, guys, I think it's time to get out of here, get this car on the road and take it for a test drive. So obviously I need to go out for a test drive. Now, as a customer, as a previous customer and a good customer, and I speak highly of you guys.
Yes, you do.
What are the chances that I can pinch it for the weekend? Sort of engage with the car and sort of understand what the car's about and work out, is the car for me?
I'm sure we can come up with something, no problem.
Okay. I know that's not
it's not a usual thing.
Yeah, that's not the usual thing, and that's not the norm. You know, you won't say to all your potential customers, "Oh, take the car here, the keys, off you go."
We do get a few chances people come along and say,
I'll get it insured.
GT3, can we take this out?
I'll get it insured on my own policy.
Perfect.
Let's get it out on the road. I took the 996 Turbo S to Northway Porsche for a PPI, a pre-purchase inspection, a thorough check to make sure it's a great car. I'm here with Paul. We're going to put the car on the ramp, get it in the air, and he will give it a good once-over, check what obviously he feels are the usual areas of concern for a 996 Turbo. We'll wait for Paul to set up the ramp, and then we'll show you the underside of the car and also see what Paul's assessment is like.
Front top mounts,
Okay.
very, very common on turbos and 996s in general. Basically that there is the mount itself. Shock absorber goes up, goes through it. The rubber is just very slightly starting to delaminate away from the metal centre of it. So can start to make a bit of a creaking noise when turning, slow speeds, car parks, stuff like that. And also with ceramics, the brake discs, normally around about when they go down to about a third left on the brake disc, although there's still meat left on there, they've got like steel rods or like phosphor bronze rods inside the actual brake pad. When it gets down to that point, that can actually start to damage the disc as well if they get too hot. But those are perfectly fine.
And the pads are fine there?
Pads are fine there as well. Again, top mount, I don't know if you can hear it. When I turn the wheel slightly, you get a very slight creak. It's almost like rubber tearing.
Yeah.
That's just where the top mount's just starting to delaminate ever so slightly. It's not bad. Power steering pipe, very, very common on 996s. That one just down there. Somebody's already kindly put a Jubilee clip round it. But that one Jubilee clip saves you a fortune.
Oh, what, it starts to leak from there, does it?
Yeah, what happens is this, where the steel pipe goes into the rubber hose, where it's swaged together from the factory, it cracks. That pipe itself is really expensive from Porsche, but it runs from this side across the top of the fuel tank and then down the passenger side of the car.
Wow.
So you're into a lot of money to replace
That's
the
a lot
two
of
hoses.
labour.
A lot of labour, a lot
of labour.
The part itself is really expensive from Porsche.
Okay.
So for the sake of a couple of quid on a Jubilee clip, it's brilliant. Again, loads of meat left on the rear of the discs as well.
Good to hear.
The only thing that I noticed on the other side, same here, date stamp on the rear tyres. The tyres are 10 years old.
When we were driving in, I could feel that the tyres do need replacing. It just, I don't know, just the way it was.
Just feels uneven.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that I noticed that as well.
Right, turbochargers,
Yes.
manifold nuts, already look like they've been replaced because they sometimes corrode away. A bit like this one here, starting to corrode away there.
Okay.
Still held on pretty well.
Right.
If it was mine, I probably wouldn't jump up and say you need to do anything with it at the moment. Centre body of the turbo on this side looks okay because they normally rot in the centres up there on the hot housing.
Right.
So right up in the middle there. The problem is as soon as you start getting into turbochargers with these, it's not only the cost of the turbo to actually take off and get it reconditioned or anything else, it's into these pipes as well. So you'll start chasing it. You've got an oil catch tank underneath and you can see the nut that goes into it there is obviously starting to corrode. You start trying to pull that out, steel nut into an alley housing, pulls the thread, then you're buying an alley sump, then you're buying a pipe, and then you've got your oil feed pipes into the top as well. All those pipes
Sounds expensive, you just telling me that.
start to add up. Yeah. So if it's all good, leave it alone. And you think the front brakes do seem to be binding ever so slightly.
Okay, well,
So that might be the noise that you were talking
I
about.
did mention to Paul just off camera that as I drove the car this morning, under 30 miles an hour, I could hear a bit of squeaking from the front. As soon as you apply the brakes, the squeaking goes away. So that's probably the brakes binding, as you're saying.
Yeah. But it's both fronts because you can feel that the wheels.
Okay. So would that just mean the pads need changing, or is it the caliper?
It might well be the caliper itself.
Right. Well, that's an area of concern because if it's the calipers, they won't be cheap.
No, they won't be. And then the only other thing on the front here as well, going on suspension items, the rear lower coffin arms, which are really common on these for squeaking as well over bumps and what have you, they're just starting to delaminate on the bushes on the inside. Both sides are doing the same.
So potentially, if you're going to do the calipers, you'd do those at the same time.
Yeah, if you've got the suspension off, say for instance you're doing your top mounts and what have you, you do the lower arms at the same time because there's no point doing a wheel alignment and and then having to do it again or replace arms after you've done a wheel alignment for doing your other suspension work.
It's good to know.
Yeah, the rest of the car, the chassis all looks okay. It's original front tub. Yeah.
Not bad for a 20-year-old car.
No, that's it.
Let's have a good look underneath. From what we can see, potentially just the calipers may need replacing because I mentioned earlier there's a little squeaky noise at low speed. Other than that, Car looks great. Turbos, which was my biggest concern, and I've read some stuff online that if the turbos need replacing on the 996s, it can be very costly. But Paul's given that a thumbs up, the best he can. He's now going to give the external part of the car a once over, check some of the insides, check all the switchgear, and then he'll go for a drive, check the gearbox, check the clutch, and just make sure it's driving straight and the brakes are performing as they should, and obviously it's boosting as it should do. Everyone does always say on the Porsches is check rev ranges, especially in rev range 1 and 2. Make sure the car's not been over revved. Typically on downshift, Paul's going to plug in his OBD computer, and we'll show you that quickly now as well.
You can see there the amount of times it's been up to the rev range 1, so that's up to and close to the rev limiter, so 3,329 ignitions. So that is not a lot at all. And every time that spark plug fires off at 6,000 RPM plus, that's like a blink of an eye. It's not a lot at all. Ignition range is in range 2, nothing. So it's never been over revved.
Excellent.
So yeah. Because the rear spoiler is hydraulically driven, you've got one pump motor in the centre in there. Comes around, you've got mod switches on this ram just here. But because the system itself doesn't hold that much fluid, any loss of fluid in there will cause a problem with the rear spoiler going up. Now this mechanism itself is very, very expensive. There are aftermarket ones out there that you can put on the car, but again, they're also pretty pricey as well.
Right.
So any signs of weeping around this area, these caps pull off. So if you've got any oil inside there,
None?
none. So yeah, which is a good sign.
Good.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Window regulator on that side's noisy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that standard?
Standard. So that is the mechanism itself. It gets, would you believe it, darker coloured cars are worse because the temperature gets into the doors more and it affects the mechanism more.
Okay. So we'll just go for a quick drive. Just make sure that obviously you're happy that the turbos are boosting as they should.
Boost. There's no hesitation there or anything else. It builds up power lovely.
So are the turbos the same size, or is one smaller than the other?
No, both the same size. Design wise, there's always 2 3-cylinder engines. So the engine ECU looks at it as 2 separate entities either side. So that way they run a smaller turbo on both sides that then spools up really quick.
Sure. And therefore virtually no turbo lag.
Yeah, no lag. So I mean, at the moment you're in 4th gear, running at 2,000 RPM, just slowing down. Put your foot down a little bit, you can start to see the boost climb 0.2 of a bar at 2,500. By the time you've got to 3.5, you're at full boost.
So full boost is 0.8 bar.
0.8 bar on a Turbo S, yeah. And, it's just literally those front calipers that just seem to be sticking a little bit.
Suspension's quite firm.
Yeah, they are.
The blocks, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Obviously, you've got to remember the suspension's 20 years old as well.
Yeah, there is that. And so are the tyres.
Yeah.
Oh, no, tyres are 10 years old. Just been out for a drive, as you can see, a test drive with Paul. And now your overall impression on the way it drives, the way it handles, and obviously what you did in the workshop. What do you think?
Overall, car looks immaculate underneath as far as body, chassis and everything else like that. No major accident damage or anything else. Turbo's in good shape. A little bit of corrosion around the actual actuators, but nothing I would worry about at all. Driving the car, drives dead straight, steering wheel straight, no pulling left or right. Yeah, overall, boost's fine.
Details down below. Hit up Northway Porsche for all your Porsche servicing needs. I've been using these guys now for 7 or 8 years. I don't go anywhere else. Love them to bits. And this was a last minute call. And so I really appreciate Paul fitting me in because I know how busy they are.
No problem.
So guys, I'm going to leave Paul to carry on, probably have lunch now.
Yeah, I'm going to try and grab some food.
But yeah, Paul, appreciate that. Thank you very much.
As always, mate, no problem.
And I will speak to you soon. I'll let you know if I get the deal done.
Cool, yeah,
Right.
look forward to it.
So guys, what are my thoughts? Well, I guess I have to try and do a deal on this car. Paul's given it a exceptional, clean bill of health. For a 19-year-old car, he speaks very highly of it. Off camera, we had a discussion about costs and values of these cars, and for potentially what I could get it for, it's a very good deal. Get it back to Ashgood Porsche, and we'll have a chat about money, and hopefully I can do a deal. Yeah, for now, I'm gonna do a few more miles, and then let's get it back over to Ashgood Porsche. We are back at Ashgood Porsche. Obviously I have gelled with it, I do like it. I think it's now a matter of, can we get a deal done? We're not far off. I think there's a bit more negotiating to do. So yeah, I'm just going to pull the car in and we'll have a chat with Mike. Right, so we are here at Ashgood Porsche and Mike is here, the owner, Mike Ashgood. How are you?
Good, Raj, you?
Very good, very good. Look, firstly, thank you for just throwing me the keys and say take it. So yeah, great car, as you did say to me.
Is this the bit where you're going to haggle?
Well, you know it's coming, so it's going to go on a high and then it's going to go on a low. It's a great car. I took it to Northway Porsche yesterday. So Paul was like, just right, bring the car down. He got it on the ramp. Spoke highly of the car. There's a few bits and pieces which we spoke about,
yep.
Actuator housings and so on. He found a few additional issues. The driver side window regulator needs replacing because it's catching. The caliper on the driver side is binding.
Right, okay.
So when you're driving at slow speed, it's squeaking. When you press the brake pedal, it's fine. And then when you're giving it beans, that squeak goes. Now we're going to talk money-wise. Now, I know you said to me that you're happy to get the work done.
Yes, of course we are. The car's got to be right.
Yeah, the car's got to be right. But I'm also happy to take the car as it is and do that work in my own time with Northway, because ultimately it's going to need a service in a few months. I'd rather put some miles on it. There might be one or two other bits that I think that need tweaking. The car's...
Don't be too harsh.
The car's up at 58, I believe.
Yeah.
Off camera, we had a conversation at 54-ish.
To you, yeah.
To me.
You can't keep going down.
But look, it needs a few bits, so...
53?
I was going to come in at 51. I was going to say 50, but I think that's like kicking you in the nuts, and that's like...
This is like another TV show I know, by the way.
So, 51, 53.
I mean, I don't know about you.
52.
Of course.
We've done the deal at 52. Appreciate that.
No, thank you.
It's a lovely car, I've got to say. I did enjoy it. And
a rare car, Turbo S, manual bodied coupe at, I think, a very reasonable price.
You don't need to sell it to me now, I bought it. So no, guys, we've done the deal. I'm going to leave the car here and we'll come pick it up in a week or so, get it all washed and prepped and so on.
You want that as well?
Yes, of course, within that. 3-stage detail, please. Make sure you give these guys a follow. A wide selection of Porsches here. If you're after a Porsche, these guys are brilliant. It's the second time we're coming back here now. So, Mike, appreciate that.
No, Raj, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Deal's done, papers are signed, and finally, the car is officially mine.
Right, guys, so super excited. The deal has now been done. The car was up for 58K, and I've managed to secure it for 52K, $6,000 discount, which is unheard of in the second-hand car market. Never owned a 996. Now I've got those 4 classic cars in my fleet, from the 964 all the way up to the 997. This will be fun. So this is going to be used as my daily. So we will do some mods to this car, some suspension upgrades and obviously audio upgrades, because that's what we do. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you smash the like button. And make sure you subscribe to the new channel, which is where you're watching this particular episode, Raj's Garage. There's a lot more content coming your way on Raj's Garage and on Cast TV, so make sure you subscribe to both channels. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back to pick up this car, and you'll see me again, no doubt, on the channel. Thanks for watching. See you soon.